Hey guys, welcome to the Gods Unchained beta with the Professor. Alright, it's time for our Monday Mythic meta for the ranked weekend event that ran on October 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Let's take a look at our results. Alright, here's a list of our top players. First place coming in with 24 wins, very close to a perfect weekend. One other player with 23 wins, and then several with 22 wins, rounding out the top 9. We do have a 3-way tie for 10th place. So it remains to be seen when the official results are published who will get the 10th place for extra prizes. Let's go into more details. Okay, so War has ticked up again with 11 of our top 20 players playing War. We have 4 players that played Magic in our top 20. Deception and Death had 2 players each in the top 20, and there was 1 Nature player in the top 20. There were no top 20 players that played Light. Magic took 1st, 4th, and 7th place in the top 10, and War took the rest of the top 10 spots, claiming 2nd, 3rd, 5th, 6th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. Our top deck this weekend was Magic with 24 wins. The best War deck managed 23 wins. Deception and Death, the best decks, finished with 21 wins. The best Nature deck finished with 20 wins. And the best Light deck that I found finished with 17 wins. Alright, with Divine Order released now, we can see that the meta is speeding up. 15 of our top 20 decks were aggro decks. 5 of our top 20 decks were control decks, and we did not have any mid-range decks. Let's look at our decks in more details. Our top Magic deck with 24 wins is the Aggro Magic deck, using Palace's Genius God Power. This deck specializes in the low curve, flooding the board, and doing direct damage with spells. Notable additions from the Divine Order is Demetrios Playwright. Demetrius has Order 10, which means it'll be difficult for your opponent to interact with it, and has a Roar effect that gives you a final draft card in your hand. The final draft deals 1 damage and draws 1 card for 1 mana. Leaving Demetrius on the board has a chance to upgrade your final drafts as well. Another addition from the Divine Order is the Miraculous Familiar, another card that can generate additional spells into your hand. So with all the spell generation and spells that can go face, you have a little bit of spell boost in the deck, but also you're taking advantage of cheap spells with the Oni Spell Sword. Our best War deck finished with 23 wins. This one is a Slayer aggro deck. Notable additions from the Divine Order set is the Inspiring Skald, a 2-mana 2/3, pretty good stats, but also has a Roar effect that gives +1/+1 to a creature in your hand. If you happen to be frenzied, it will also give that creature Twin Strike. And of course, the addition of the Thundercaller, a 3-mana 3/3 that if you are frenzied, will give +1/+1 to each of your Vikings on the board. So you're probably getting the hint that this is a Viking synergy deck, looking to take advantage of Thundercaller, along with the Enduring Shield, and additional Viking synergy with the Valkyrie Heartsworn and Battle Bard. Our top Death deck finished with 21 wins. This one's a controlled Death deck with the Blood Ritual God Power. You have your usual stall cards with Siren of the Grave, Dust to Dust, Canopic Hoarder to activate Siren again, Sand Scorpion as well. And then you have removals with Reap, Neferu, Apocalypse Now, and End Times. Of course, you have your Demogorgon for additional stalling, and the Bronze Gate, which is an addition from the Divine Order, along with Polyhymnia, a 9-mana card. Polyhymnia comes on the board with Frontline, Protected, and Ward, with Regen 6 and Armor 6. And at the end of each of your turn, Polyhymnia gives Ward and Protected to your god and to itself. Another addition from the Divine Order is Eva, Baroness of the Dead. It is a 2-mana 2/3 with an Afterlife effect. It transforms a random creature that costs 4 or less, whether it's on your side of the board or your opponent's, into a 1/1 zombie, and then that zombie then takes on the Afterlife. So there's the potential for the Afterlife to keep chaining and transforming creatures on the board. Our best Deception deck finished with 21 wins. This one's an aggro hidden rush deck with Orpheus Distraction. Notable additions from Divine Order is the Stone Skin Poison, a card that will give Order +3 and Burn +2 to a creature, preferably using your opponent. You have the Cobra Scepter, 2 copies of it, which adds a clock on your opponent because each turn that they are drawing a card, they're taking 2 damage. Another strong addition is Lady Marcella, a 3-mana 3/3 that summons 2 Rogue Skulkers with Deadly. It does have an afterlife, but the afterlife can be easily navigated. Another strong Divine Order addition is the Shadow Matriarch, a 3-mana 2/2 that's hidden and has backline, but at the start of your turn, it'll summon a Shadow of Lethanon to your side. Our best nature deck finished with 20 wins using the Animal Bond God Power. This one's an aggro version deck, topping out at 6 mana. It has 2 copies of Ironclad Minotaur for sleep protection, but also 1 copy of the Watchtower of Agrador. Other notable Divine Order cards are 1 copy of the Low Hanging Fruit, which does 1 damage to a random enemy, and it summons a 1/1 fruit on your side. You have the Rabid Bear, a strong 3-mana play. If you are frenzied, it becomes a 4/4. You have the Moonlight Charm Relic, which at the end of your turn, if you are frenzied, gives +2/+2 to your strongest creature. You also have the 4-mana Starving Sabertooth. It is a 4/5, but if you are frenzied and then you attack with it, it gains regen +1. And you have another solid 5-drop, the 5-mana 6/6 Brazen Moose. It comes down with Blessed and Confused. And lastly, the strong stall card of Bronze Gate, a 3-mana 2/4 with armor 1. The best light deck I found finished with 17 wins. This one's a control light deck with Lysander's Honor. This deck specializes in control with cards that stall and slows down your opponent. You have Sit Down, Censure, Light's Levy, Harbor Knight, Imperious Smite. A notable addition from Divine Order is the card Divine Judgment, a card that will obliterate a creature that has order. You have Censure, which gives creatures order. You have a strong 4-mana 4/5 with Cern, the Moderator. Anytime a creature is healed, Cern draws you a card, and it also has a roar effect that gives order +3 to an enemy creature and heals your friendly characters. So Cern coming down immediately has a strong roar effect. You have Lips Are Sealed, another card that gives order to creatures. Then you have the 7-mana 2/2 Archpriest of Parthene. It has a roar effect that will give order to a creature, but then gets a buff depending on how much order is on the board. And then you have Thariel's Anvil, an 8-mana 4/6 that has backline and ward. It can't attack, but at the end of each turn, it summons a 2/6 Divine Chain. 2/6 Divine Chain comes with Frontline, and it's a 6-mana 2/6, so quite a good stalling card. Taking a look at our meta snapshot, we can see that War is now played 50% of the time during the ranked weekend at the Mythic level. And why not? It has a 54% win rate, green across all the other gods, dominating Deception and Nature. For the first time ever, Nature is now 4th place, with only 10% of the players playing Nature. It has the lowest win rate as well at 40%. We have Deception and Magic being more popular than Nature now. Magic almost with a 50% win rate, and positive matchups over Deception, Light, and Nature. The lowest played god is Light at 5.7%, has the second lowest win rate, and it's quite a rare occurrence to see Light during the weekend ranked. Light is the only god that has less than 50% win rate across all the other gods. All right, updating our top 10 scoreboard with results from last weekend. Not much change in our top 13, but we can see that Wes has now joined our top 15. Making room for Wes, all these players have moved down, and another new addition in our top 30, Mistborn, jumping in at number 25. All right, here's a list of our top 20 players again. Congratulations on a very close and competitive weekend. From this point out, we should be receiving our ranked weekend rewards, which are Divine Order packs, every week now. So good luck on your packs when you receive them.